everybody had to bring it. So it was like no one was bombing really. It was just levels of killing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Welcome to the Party with Lance podcast, episode 21 or 22, I forget. I'm Lance, the host, per usual. I'm here in the studio. I have, first of all, Jared Dykas.
Yeah.
Jared, should we say where we're at? We're in St. Pete, Florida. Jared is originally from the Philadelphia area, New Jersey, that whole thing.
Nice.
We have Brennan Fitzgibbons over here. Originally from Chicago, currently in Los Angeles, and a Los Angeles legend.
Yeah, look at the shirt.
And he's got a tight shirt. And we have the ultimate legend. Don't you hate when people intro you? They're like, this guy is the best of all time. Now you have to live up to the all-time. DC Benny, originally from DC, yes?
Yes,
or Brooklyn.
DC.
Yeah.
Is that why they call you DC?
Yeah, because, I'll tell you.
Got to finish the intro.
Story.
Okay. Brooklyn, DC, and New York, and a comedy legend of all time. So that's it. Party with Lance podcast is kicking off.
Yep. Great.
What an intro.
What an intro.
We did it. So I don't have it. That's it. I don't know where to go from here.
I want to hear the DC story.
Oh, the name?
Yeah.
Because when I moved from... Because my name's Ben Wartofsky, and when I moved from D.C. to New York, and I was working on the Black Circuit, I was working at the Uptown Comedy Club and all that, there was a guy named Uncle Jimmy Mack, and he named everybody names, and he couldn't say my name. He would host, and he couldn't say my name, Ben Wartofsky, so he's like, man... And he would fuck it up every week, and then finally he had named Brooklyn Mike or whatever. He's like, "Oh, you from DC, and you're DC. You're gonna be DC Benny," and that became my name. And then he died in a Tracy Morgan accident. That was the guy who died. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but that was the guy who named me. So if you got named, you got made, kind of. You made
great.
your bones. So that's where I came from.
My favorite intro I ever got, I was at a college doing a college show, and the people that put on the college shows are like these 19-year-old freshman girls who don't know what's going on. So they have a card. So I think I did this show with you, and it was in Delaware. She's like, this next comic, Brendan, I'm sorry. Brendan, I'm sorry. I'm like, okay, great. I just took the mic and I didn't start the show on I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I kind of want to preface this too. Jared is newish to stand-up.
Oh, right.
Right?
And I was just asking you in Waffle House about how. I'm curious. I want to
So
dive
he's not
deep
that
on
new to stand up. If he's already at the Waffle House with you, he's not that new.
True that.
But a year-ish?
Yeah, a year and some change.
A year and
the
change
The
in.
change isn't much.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
some change.
And Brennan and I are each about 20-ish.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Wow.
you didn't do that math yet.
I'm
18.
like 16.
Yeah.
I mean, do you count the years we took off though? Like the pandemic years?
Count them all.
I'm counting nothing. I'm trying to have less years.
And DC is at least 200.
200 years.
He's 200 in. Yeah.
DC started in 1935.
Oh, Jared, yes, sorry.
No.
Waffle House.
No, the college shows.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
You've had a fair share of
Oh,
college
a
shows?
decent amount, yeah.
What do you make of college shows? Like, you like them or no?
I haven't done them recently, but everyone says it's like way too PC now.
Yeah.
But I mean, the college show stories it's a lot like that. My favorite was Kevin Barnett's story. Do you ever hear this story? He had to do a college show in the middle of their lunch. Everyone's having lunch in the cafeteria. There's no stage, so he just started preaching. He kept going, "Can I get an amen?" He stopped doing jokes. But the thing about college shows is they pay awesome, so it's like you just eat it for 50 minutes.
It's one night when you're making a weekend at a comedy club. So you go in, you do it, and I remember Jim Brewer told me, he's like, be prepared to bomb more than you've ever bombed. Like, be prepared, because it's these kids that book you. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. And then you get there, and there's all kinds of rules or whatever. Like, I would get to a Jesuit school, and it'd be like Jesuit priests, but all the kids wanted to hear was dirty stuff. This was back in, now it's different. But then all they wanted was the dirty stuff, and the priest is sitting there like, and you're like, mother frogger. But it's good money doing it, but they were always horrible.
I'm pretty sure we did Marshall or somewhere in West Virginia.
Drexel.
West Virginia, we did.
Drexel, you guys did?
No, just you and me. It was like Marshall or something, and so So it was like before the school started, we were in West Virginia, and like all these kids were there. But Lance, I think you said this on stage, and it was a good point, or someone said it. Like the kids that are here are all losers. Like, why are you here?
Did I say that?
Like you
That does sound
I'm
like
sure you opened with that.
You should be drinking and having fun. Like, why are you at this show? And I just put out the vibe for that show real nicely.
Most of my act is survival.
That's a good way of looking at it.
We
Yeah, I
used
like
to have to do to get the college shows.
Yeah.
You used to have to do a NACA convention.
You still
Yes.
do, I think.
Okay, so you do the NACA convention, and,
Really?
what would happen is you would go and audition, and the kids would send the representatives from the student body to book people. But those guys, when they got there, they lost their mind. They didn't even. So a lot of these. And you could never do this now, but back in the day, a lot of these guys would hang out with those kids and party with them. Oh my God. And I remember I did a NACA convention with this guy, Master Lee. Did you guys know Master
Oh,
Lee?
yeah. There's also a Master Eddie as well.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking
Yeah.
of Master Eddie. Okay.
Yeah.
Master Lee his thing was he was this kind of Chinese-ish guy who would do like martial arts. He would break boards. Oh my God! And it was like he would break stuff, and he had this really because he was a street performer too. So he performed in Washington Square Park, and because he was a street performer. Not so much a club performer, his voice was all fucked up. He'd be like, "I, Master Lee." That's how he started. "I, Master Lee, am going to break this board." And so I had to room with him. And we were rooming together. We did two different showcases.
You have the same agent, and they put you together.
Same agent. They put you in there. So we're rooming together. I'd never roomed with this guy. And this guy, he was wild. Like, he was a real street dude that, like, he would perform in the streets in New York, and then in the winter he would go to Venice Beach and perform out there, and just kind of live out there. I don't know.
I love they just stick you with them.
Yeah, they just stuck us together.
We're the random man.
Oh yeah, I guess you guys would be fine with the guy who breaks boards and lights fires.
So I go to sleep. I do my showcase and I go to sleep, and he comes back and he's hooked up with this girl. But there's one room with the two beds.
Oh, my
so he's like, "Be really quiet. The other guy's asleep, right?" So they start hitting it, and he's like, "Oh, Mr. Lee." She's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "No, you guys got it. You guys, it's too fucking noisy." I tried to hide it. It's too noisy. He's like, "No problem, no problem." So they go in the bathroom, and he's hitting it in the bath. You're, "Oh, Mr. Lee." Right. And then they end up sleeping together, and then he leaves early in the morning with her, and I go to the bathroom to take a shower. Every fucking towel, every towel is wet, and it's a mess. They tore it up like the whole. But it was just so funny to hear that voice in the middle of the night. "Oh, Master Lee." She's like, do that thing," because she had seen him perform. Do that opening thing. "Oh, Mr. Lee." So God bless him. But now I think he does it. I don't know if he does comedy now. He does spoken word stuff. He's a good guy. But it's just the funniest.
Boards.
It's hilarious. That's what those are. It's a million college stories. I'll shut. This is the party with Lance. Well, Lance party.
That's it. I don't have any. I'm just here to hang. I don't have any questions.
I mean, it's fun to talk about. You always talk about characters. It's fun to talk about the New York characters.
I was nervous last night falling on you because you crushed. So we did last night show at the Sunshine City Comedy Club.
Yeah.
And DC, Brendan and DC opened, and Jerry was hanging with us, and DC crushed per usual. And he did like 20 characters, and I was like, I have no idea. I was like, I have to follow this now. Like, there's no way. Like, I shouldn't.
Yeah.
In no world should I go after you.
No,
you
but
know?
it's two different styles, so you totally can't
Yeah,
go
it
after
works,
me.
but it's not.
Yours seems like everything's off the top of your head. So that's to an audience, that's like magic. They see me and they're like, "Oh, that's scripted out. That's funny." But when it's off the top of the head, the biggest laughs can come out of that. So,
well, that's because I'm forgetting material. It is off the top of my head. Just making it like trying to. My act is survival from beginning to end.
But the people that walk out during Lance's set, that's planned.
Yeah.
Some people do walk out. Yeah.
Can we talk about the energy difference between night one and then night
Oh,
two?
yeah.
By energy, you mean?
Or lack thereof on the first
Yeah.
night? I don't know.
Yeah, the first one. So on Friday night we had a tough go. All of us did. But last night we had a great one. That's the nature of
DC said it great. You said it, we had PTSD from the night before. It makes you seriously like a Vietnam former vet because you get like triggered because the second it's silent, you're like, I gotta be funny. You're like, oh no, it's gonna happen again. It's gonna happen again.
I think it's what keeps it fun, though, right?
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun the night before, though.
Both were fun.
Yeah, because it was just like, okay, we're all eating a dick up here. That's a given. We're not going to be able to get out of it, so let's just play with it and have fun. And that's,
I think, a good piece of advice for you is not fighting stuff sometimes. When it's like, the more you do it, the more you're just like, this is what's happening. And the less you try to, I remember I used to try to fight against bombing. I'm like, oh, I'll go faster and louder. And that will fix this somehow.
Oh, wow.
And it just made it worse. Like when I'm bombing, then the next thing you know, my mouth is dry. I can't talk. But I think that's a good piece of advice.
Well, it's good to try and dig out of it if you can, but sometimes it's hopeless.
Yeah.
And you have to kind of wallow in it and enjoy it as best as you can.
I got a great analogy. I've said this before. It's kind of like sometimes it just rains, and maybe you can get an umbrella or a poncho, but sometimes it's like 50-mile-an-hour wind. You know, you're like, I'm just wet now.
Yeah.
And I'm in it. And I'm gonna. Instead, I'm not gonna run to my car. I'm soaked. I'm just gonna walk. I'm just over.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, monsoon season.
Yeah.
On a real note, though, like when you bomb,
This is a real note.
is there any, like, how much mind do you pay at this point in your guys' career? You guys been doing this for years and years and years and years. Do you guys still pay mind to, like, even when you have a bad set anymore, or do you just like take it as part of the game at this point? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I bomb a lot, so it's just what it is. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think it's ever going to stop.
It never stops. It never stops.
You know?
It's just how you deal with it.
Yeah.
And you know, they always say the best thing to do is get on stage as soon as possible, get that taste out of your mouth. But I don't like it. I don't like bombing. I never like it. But sometimes if I'm angry at them, if you're bombing and they're being assholes and you're angry at them, then I kind of like it because I don't want them to enjoy themselves, you know? Because I'm like, you
great.
fucking assholes.
Oh, wow.
You know, I'm working hard here. You know, let's make this bomb as bad as it can be, you know? But then I have to sit in it for the days afterwards. So it's never good, but it never ends.
Jared,
but, you know,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, Jared and I were talking about this yesterday because he said you got off stage yesterday and you were all jacked up, like you were excited, like because you had a great set.
It's the best feeling.
And it's great to see because a lot of people like you still have it.
Yeah.
Like not everybody. There's people a year in don't even have it, but you still have an excitement of like and a lot of people don't know this. I'll say somebody that people might not know. Well, everybody that knows comedy knows you're the best, right? There's two guys in this business that I always say that if you like. We hear a lot of trash in this business about people. There's two guys. I go, you ever meet these guys? Like, 'cause there's a lot of new comics. Like, I'll throw another name out. These guys will agree. If you ever meet, or when you meet,
Bill Cosby.
Greg Warren.
Yeah.
Great
All
guy.
you will
My
hear
fave.
is the same you'll hear about DC. Unbelievably funny. Nice. Every single person you ever meet is like, all you will hear when you mention DC Benny or
Helps
Greg
comics,
Warren, you hear two words.
It's awesome.
That guy's the best. The best. That's what everybody says.
Wow.
But Jared, he said you got off stage last night and you were still like jacked up and excited, and a lot of people lose that. Oh, and this about you too, and this is what I was gonna say that a lot of people don't know this about you because people know you as being one of the best. Like all these podcasts. No, but they do. They're all these, and you know that. Like you humbly but people know. They'll watch these podcasts. Every big comic that does it still today is like you mentioned DC. Like, yeah, he's the funniest dude. But here's what people don't know about you is that, and maybe I don't know if Jared and I, but like you get nervous still.
Oh yeah.
And people don't realize that.
Oh yeah.
Because I've opened for you on the road. Thank you. And and we've done some gigs, and you will sometimes pace before you go on. I mean, and if you do this a lot, but people don't know that because you're so smooth on stage, and you're going over your notes, and you're looking, and I see you in your head trying, and then you go up there and you're smooth. But people don't realize. Anyway, my point is, it was. Jared texted me yesterday. He goes, DC got off stage. He was all jacked up. He was still, and it's nice to see. Is the point? You still get nervous sometimes, and then you get off, and you're still and not every a lot of comics even a year in will lose it.
I don't know how you can lose it.
You know, yeah.
I was talking to somebody else. This was years ago. I was talking to. We were actually on the way to do a college, and we were talking about comedy and killing, and how there's nothing else like it. Sex isn't like it.
Yeah.
Drugs aren't like it. a great meal is not like it. There's nothing else that can simulate that feeling of when you kill and you make a room full of strangers laugh and you get off that stage and you're buzzing. I don't ever want to lose that, and that's not a great thing for someone you're in a relationship to hear.
I was just gonna say,
but
also what keeps you having 9 different ex-girlfriends. You're like, well, this is fun, but it's not as fun as this.
But I don't ever want to lose that, and I get terrified almost every time before, and then sometimes days before. Like if it's a thing, I mean, I can't.
Why, DC?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because Friday could happen again.
Yeah. But I don't want to. You don't want to bomb, and it's like. It can be a mixture of factors. I'm very rarely do I say, "Hey, that was a great set." That was like a 10 out of. I don't even think I can think of a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
No, it may be an 8 out of 10
Okay.
once in a while. So it's like the journey to chase having a perfect set is a lot of pressure, I think. And then and there's also nothing like when a new joke
that's the best feeling.
Works. When a new thing you're working on works and it works consistently.
You're like, I'm still good at this. That's the feeling.
It's still because you feel like it goes away, like you can't do it anymore, like you're a fraud. That you've done it all this time, but suddenly you lose that ability to do it. And people say as you get older too that you get you see comedians that are less funny or less. So there's. It's always. I mean, I love the craft of it.
Yeah.
I love the craft of it. I'm always so happy when it goes well, and I'm happy being around guys that are positive and good comedians. And I get fucking terrified that I'm going to bomb. I'm always terrified I'm going to bomb.
I have a question for you, DC, because you do have a healthy personal relationship. And I want to know what that's like. And then I want to know, do you think that that's actually helped or hurt you in your stand-up because you're like, well, I have this really good thing to go home to. I don't need to be out chasing shitty laundromat spots and Flushing.
I'll do it. Let me know about it.
He's already booked it. Lance is like, where is it?
I actually do need to do my laundry as we speak.
Lance is like, where's this show?
I'm throwing a load and do a set at the same time.
I'm at a place now where I think it would help me, like, to not, because that bomb, then the loneliness afterwards of like, I have no one to talk to about this. I'm on the N train. It's 11:30 at night, and I go home to no one. Do you know what that pain is like? It's unfucking real, man.
There's no art on the walls.
Yeah, there's no on the wall. You're sitting in your room. Your dad told you to hang it up 7 years ago, which my dad did do, and he denies to this day. But he absolutely told me to hang it up. And so, like, all those things compound, and then you're like, "What am I doing?" So to go home and have, because you have a great relationship.
I have a great relationship.
Yeah.
I'm lucky. I have a great wife.
Yeah.
It's
And you've been together forever.
we've been together 28 years.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'll say this: it's a very difficult,
Right.
It's very difficult to maintain a relationship in this life.
100%.
It's like the mob, where it's like you know what I mean. It's the life. You can't you got to go whack somebody, or you can't talk about what you do and all this shit.
Getting home at all hours.
But it is the life. Yeah, you got to pay these. You got to hang out. You got to do this. You got to do that. All these career disappointments take a toll. That person absorbs some of that. So you need somebody who really has a lot of intestinal fortitude to go through that with you, and that doesn't burn out. And then you have to moderate how much.
Yes.
That it's hard, and then there's also opportunities that'll come up that you may not take. I may not take because I don't want to fuck up my marriage. I don't want to have to be here in LA while she's here in New York while we're waiting to see if this pilot gets picked up and this and all that other kind of stuff. So in a way, I could have done other things in my career, and I'm not just speaking for me, but the other part is you want to be married or in a relationship with a person that has their own life, that isn't just
waiting for you, waiting around.
Because that's, if you have someone that has their own life, it helps balance it out.
Yeah.
That's a good call.
And you can kind of have something outside of comedy that feeds comedy. That is like, you can get, that gives you a good perspective. It's kind of like if you're in Los Angeles a lot and you're driving everywhere, or Florida even, and you're not walking around and being amongst people like you're used to in New York, you lose a little bit of connectivity.
Yeah.
Like you're in a gated community.
Right.
We'll just say.
Interesting.
So I think if you can, it's very hard. It's another job, and it will take away from your work in comedy because you have to nurture it. You have to nurture both of them. So you have to be the type of person that can nurture both of them. This is my opinion on it. You have to be willing to nurture both of them because either one you don't nurture is going to fall apart.
My favorite thing is so when you start doing comedy, you date a girl. In the beginning, they love it. So this is amazing. And then about 3 months in, they're like, again? So again. Yeah. So this is actually what it's going to be. They still think in their minds it's just the first month you're dating. And then he'll stop. It's fine. But it's the again. Yeah. Dude, I apologized to this girl. Remember, I dated this girl named Jenna. She's a comic. On her 27th birthday, I took her to the Waltz Astoria open mic, and I still on her fucking birthday.
That's so comic.
It's so
That's so
bad.
comedian.
I'm like, I was gonna marry this girl. I'm like, it would be a treat for you. The Waltz Astoria open mic in Queens, where we pay $10 and get a peanut butter and jelly sandwich to watch amateur comedians try.
And you sell it because it's not just a comedy mic.
I'm like,
that was an open mic. You're like, well, they're gonna have music. They're gonna have some spoken word. It's gonna be a nice
surf and turf. Yeah.
That's how bad the addiction was for me in New York. I was so addicted to spots.
I still have.
You have it more than anybody I know.
Yeah, I have it bad.
You have a Suba. Him and Suba are the only two.
There's a couple people that. I mean, we go through. I literally, if we did a big theater, or the four of us did a theater of 12,000 people or whatever, a big, huge mini arena, and then someone's like, "There's a dumpster 2 hours away. There's gonna be 4 people in the dumpster." I'm like, "What time? We gotta make it." I just love doing it,
Yeah.
It's the
what
best.
else would you do? I don't know. That's the way I view it.
But don't you worry about when you do 2 shows a night and the first one's great, then if you end on the second one, you just remember the second shitty one? Does that happen to you guys?
Yeah.
Do you remember the second bomb?
You try to get that out.
I'd rather end on the good one.
I always try and end on a good one.
Yeah, give me the good one. That's why
you never know.
I put my cards in last night. I'm like, I'm out. After the first one, the first show was good. I'm not going the second show. I'm like, here you go. I'm out.
That's why you book yourself on a brunch show, so there's not the window is short between the bombs.
You did a brunch show.
You just got a quick sleep and you're right into a brunch show.
That's so good.
It's amazing. That's amazing.
I got to see Lance to a brunch show. What was that, yesterday?
Yeah, I think it was yesterday. Yeah.
What happened?
It's a very high ceiling with echoes in a food court. Food something. It was fun
good.
for what it was.
There was kitchen staff. You were doing crowd work with the kitchen staff.
Yeah.
Through a glass door.
I was like, someone ordering fajitas?
That's so good.
That's the best, man. That is the
We
best.
should tell the medical event story. Probably our favorite bomb.
Well, I want to tell the DC story of at Lucky Jack's when a kid came in. So we're at Lucky Jack's. DC would come in and 20 minutes before and hang out, and this kid came in. And I don't know if you might remember this.
I remember this completely.
Yeah, I think you'll tell it better than me.
This is my favorite DC Benny story. So Morgan J, who's now huge. Do you know this? Morgan's. So he's Morgan's on our show. He sees DC. And DC's hanging out at a show, and Morgan comes running. Morgan comes over and goes, "Is that DC Benny?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, wow." He goes up to DC and he goes, "DC, man, I'm such a fan. I grew up watching you. I took notes on your special without missing a beat." You go, "Can I see those notes?" Oh, my that was the best. Hey, can I see those notes? So
Do you remember that?
No,
Dude,
I don't remember that at all.
One of my favorite things anybody's ever said at Gandhi. Oh, cool. Can I see those notes?
In all sincerity,
That was so good, dude.
Could use
Can I
it.
see those notes is the best, dude.
It's great. That is great.
Yo, how did you and Lance meet?
Oh,
Yeah.
man, we were he's one of my oldest friends in comedy. What happened? Oh, Maui Taco, probably, right?
I think I told One night you watched me do, I think, 48 minutes there. It was just you
and like 2 other people.
Yeah, and eventually you guys were like, Lance, you got to get off the stage, which was like crates. They were like beer crates. Was the
we were
stage.
standing on a crate, and at one time we performed on there using a beer bottle as a microphone for an audience that was heckling us.
But eventually it was you and 2 other people. I did 48 minutes.
Yeah, nothing's really changed in my life. It's still happening. I'm still watching him.
And you guys like, Lance, we're leaving. Like, you have to get off. Like,
we're trying to leave. Because he wouldn't let you. Yeah, you just kept going. Nothing's changed.
Yeah, it's just it's the best. I don't know.
And then we started doing a college tour really early on.
5th year comedy tour.
It was called 5th Year Comedy Tour, and I thought that
that's a great name.
It was a great name.
Yeah.
And I thought for the rest of my life, I'm like, this is it.
I know, we thought it was over.
We did like 3 colleges, and that was it.
Yeah, it was us and 3 other dudes. I think there were 5 of
Phil
us.
Murphy, Adam Lash,
Aaron Camino Smith. There were 5 of us. Yeah.
And so it was like 2006.
And we'd each go do like 15 minutes, which was a lot of time.
A lot of time in college.
I will say this, time, and maybe time used to matter back then.
Yeah.
Like, you had to crush for 15 minutes. Now, I'm not that I want to like shit on like, but there's people now, they're like, I'm doing a half hour. I'm like, I've never seen you do a good 2 minutes.
Oh yeah. They got specials now.
Yeah,
they got specials, and you're like, whew, there's like maybe a tight 5 in there.
Yeah,
maybe.
in your time coming up,
yeah.
like even like you had to be an absolute beast to get in any club, to be at any club. To now it's like I don't want to. There's who knows? It's art form. Who knows what's happening? We're doing this podcast, but like it just your generation of people was like you had to be an absolute destroyer.
Well, they would take you off the lineup if you weren't killing and you were sandwiched in between. I mean, like any given night at the Boston, it'd be like Jim Norton and Jay Moore and fucking Chappelle.
Oh my God!
You know, Tony Woods and whoever Brewer would come through. Whoever, any given night, and you have to be in that lineup of killers, DePaulo, whoever,
Greg
Todd
Giraldo.
Barry, Greg Giraldo, and you have to, you know, everybody had to bring it. So it was like no one was bombing really. It was just levels of killing.
Yeah.
You know,
that's awesome. Well, I always say too, like as you get older, I know a new comic is when they tell you how much time they have. They're like, I got like an hour at least. And then as like you get older, you're like, I have 10 minutes. When you're 5 years in, you realize how much time you really have. But new comics are all like, yeah, I have like an hour. I'm like, no, I don't think you do have an hour, but okay.
Well, you find out how much time you have when you're bombing because you'll do an hour in 5 minutes. You know, exactly. So how you feeling, sir? You know?
Like I just did my first album. I'm 14, 15 years in, man, and like it was 50 minutes. But like, when I was starting, I was like, I could do like when we were doing the college tour, I was like, oh, of course. And I think I had 1 joke. I had 2 real jokes in that tour.
But that's why you look at like Bring the Pain, look Chris Rock's first special, and then you look at the specials after that, which were great. But Bring the Pain was years and years and years.
Too. Ali special, man.
Yeah. So and then after that, you're writing 1 a year. And so it's you don't have that repository. You don't have that. You can't pull from all that earlier. Yeah,
it's impossible. Like Chappelle did like 6 specials. I was like, there's no way in like 7 years to have every special be that awesome. It's like impossible.
So your album, did that have jokes on there from like when you first? Wow.
12 years. Yeah,
that's great.
Whoa.
That's great. It's gonna be
it felt so good to put him to bed.
Awesome.
I was like, good night, these jokes, because I was like 24 when I wrote them.
That's
and I'm
crazy.
Like, yeah, but it's just good that like I just wanted to get it on a record, and then I'm like, okay, bye. You know,
That's great.
Are you still doing old stuff?
I will rotate it in. I will rotate it. I'm not. I know Louis just says he gets rid of it, but he's on a different performance schedule.
Like we're not all doing hours every night. You know?
I'm not. So I rotate it in as needed, but I prefer to do the new. But sometimes I go up there and I'm like, I have a new hour I'm working on, and I'm just not confident in it, and I'm like, I want to do a good job, and I'll sprinkle a little new stuff in. So I'll rotate the old stuff in. That's and also I don't want to forget it.
Yeah,
I want to keep. But you also, like you said, you put it on wax, you have it. And so, and there's a lot of shit I've forgotten, jokes I can't even.
I tell Lance about his jokes sometimes. Like, oh yeah, that was a good one.
I write them down. I reuse them. You forget what you did.
Like, yeah, for sure.
Was this a good reunion? We got water and coffee.
I was just thinking about like, dude, that Gandhi era was amazing.
It was great.
Yeah,
I do miss it. Like,
I have a question for DC, or unless you want to talk about Gandhi stuff.
No, I do want to tell that story though about the medical event at some point.
The medical event.
All right, let's tell that one. Yeah.
Okay, so we had
This is one of the worst gigs we ever did.
So we have this comic so we met so many comics at Ghani. This one guy did a lot of corporate gigs. Okay, so he's like, hey, I can't do this gig. It's for doctors from the Bronx Hospital and the Bronx Zoo. And we're like, yeah, the money was insane.
I think it was like their 125th anniversary or something of like the staff. Yeah.
Who's that comic that's on Abbott Elementary? Janelle.
Janelle.
She had the best post about comedian pay. She's like, comedian pay is insane. It'll be like, I got $20 to follow Attella at the cellar, and I got $10,000 to do this chicken coop. Yeah. So we're getting like $800 to do this event each, and so we're like, of course, we're gonna do this. Yeah. We roll up. It is a gigantic ballroom.
Bronx Botanical Zoo.
Everybody's in suits and dresses.
It's like a gala?
Yeah, I mean, the Bronx Botanical Zoo is beautiful.
Beautiful, bro.
And it's like Tux is. I think there were cellos being played when you walked in. And champagne going around.
Oh, don't worry, this gets so much better.
Yeah.
So
the two old guys from Trading Places.
Exactly, just talking about money.
We're not dressed well, by the way.
We're not We're not dressed for this, right? Gigantic ballroom. And this is what was the worst part. Huge dance floor right here, no people. All the people sides.
Circle tables,
so
tablecloths.
No one is like 100 feet here.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So we have to shoot out and perform this way in this huge ballroom. So the guy running is this Indian dude. Lance goes up.
Well, he's supposed to do 20 minutes.
Lance is about 8 minutes into a set. He's bombing. The Indian guy turns to me and goes, okay, he's done now. Okay, he's done. Okay, he's done.
I did 12 minutes, by the way.
Lance always sticks it out.
I did 12 minutes.
Okay.
After being done.
So that happens, and I'm like, okay, when you see that, I'm like, that's talk about a bad feeling. You're like, I know I'm walking into D-Day. Like, I know what I'm doing. Like, oh no, don't worry. They take dinner break, which is the worst.
And it's so a lot of people are sober at this point.
Yeah,
So
they take a full dinner break, and then what do, guys? Oh, don't worry. An in memoriam.
Oh yeah.
For all of the doctors that died that year.
Oh my God.
They bring their wives on stage. Give them prizes and like plaques being like, your husband was amazing. There's like a montage
projector. You guys remember Ken? He was with us for 26 years. He worked in HR. And people were weeping in the thing.
The dead wives are holding these plaques. Swear to God. The same Indian guy goes, okay, we're going to continue with the comedy right now. Right after.
First of all, it's 30 minutes of this. The whole place is weeping. Remember Janice? She was in payroll. And she was with us for 8 years and died. I mean, there must be like 50 people died at this thing. It was forever. And then, I'll just...
I don't know where he just goes, okay, we're going to continue with the comedy.
And I'd already bombed. At this point, I had a few drinks that were going around at that point.
It must have been the best to watch this.
Yeah.
I think it's the hardest I've ever laughed.
Yeah.
Because they just go, and now Brendan Fitzgibbons. And I was standing in the back, not dressed well, and people were weeping. I don't know if the camera... I fell to my knees. I was by myself crying.
Because it's the worst feeling. And finally I acknowledge it because I'm just bombing horrifically. I'm like, guys, I followed the in memoriam.
Oh my
What can you want from me up here? I'm trying jokes and like a couple of young people came up to us. They're like, don't worry about it. Everyone's old here. They try to like console. And then
You guys were funny. Yeah.
Then we had the audacity to hang out still. Why did we not run out of that building, dude? We're like, yeah, we'll hang out.
We ate food, we drank. I think we danced a little even after.
Here's the best part. The guy then, 2 weeks later, told us, who gave us the gig, he purposely gave us this gig because he wanted us to hear the story. He knew it was going to be terrible. And we totally walked into this trap. I would have done it again, though. The money was so stupid. It was, the story's incredible.
It was it might be the hardest I ever laughed. Because, I had bombed horrifically. I fell to my knees
the
crying.
in memoriam, bro.
What's funnier than watching someone bomb, though? What is funnier? That someone you love bomb is even... That's,
oh my God. Love it so much.
Struggling up there. It could be me.
What about you? You have to have something like that.
Him and I did a tough one in New Jersey.
Oh, yeah, that was horrible.
What part of Jersey?
Oh, it was some like a firehouse type thing.
It was
or
like a VFW.
VFW hall.
I don't know. It was...
That was horrible, but I can't even remember. I did a showcase once. So you would fly to LA and do a showcase for the industry.
Great.
And there was a guy named Barry Katz who was a manager.
What year is this, you think?
This is in the 90s.
Okay.
This is like probably late 90s.
So Barry Katz is the biggest agent.
He was a big, he's handled everybody at that time. And so he would put together these comedy showcases, and all the industry would come. It was at the Laugh Factory.
Yeah.
And I'd never been to the Laugh Factory. I think I'd been to Los Angeles once, and he was like, man, you gotta wear a suit, man. You gotta go up there and wear a suit, man. You're gonna be on fire. You gotta wear a suit. And I never like performing in suits because people will be like, pretty motherfucker. They don't half the audience is gonna hate you immediately. So I was not on that Bill Bellamy stuff. I just wanted to like blend in and just not be. That's distracting.
You're not a Michael Collier.
Yeah. So I got these dress shoes because I had the suit, and then I had these dress shoes, and they had kind of a heel on them, right? It's kind of leather, this heel, and Barry, it's like, we're gonna put you up. The host is gonna be great, man. It's gonna be on fire, man. And the host was a radio guy, that had not done stand up. So I don't know what Barry was doing with that, but the guy was
I know what he's doing, making money somehow. That guy was somehow associated.
And there was all these people like NBC and ABC and HBO, and they're all there and shit. And the guy does not warm the crowd up. I think he puts me up first. I go up and I'm just dying. I'm dying up there. Like none of my. I haven't done comedy that long. It's all New York shit, right?
Yeah.
And I go and so I finish bombing in front of the industry. And Barry was my best friend before the show. He's like, man, you're on fire, man. They're gonna love you, man. You're just do that fucking Chinese voice, whatever, man, or whatever you do, man. And the lady, and I did the Chinese character. I was doing this Chinese deli character, and there was the lady from ABC was Chinese, sitting in the front, right? Like, not funny. And so I go to leave, and I've never worked that club before, and it was really dark, and I was like, I bombed horribly, and my shoe heel got caught on the edge of the stage.
No.
And I fell off the stage onto the bomb onto the woman from ABC.
Oh my god!
And that was the only thing that got a laugh, by the way. That was the only thing that got a laugh. And then she's like, ow! I crushed her. I'm 6'4". I'm crushing this little woman. So I had to crawl back up on the stage, and I go to walk off. And I'm like, boom, why can't I walk right? Because the shoe heel had broken off. So I'd walked off. I was limping off of there, but the heel was left on the stage. And everybody was looking at this thing with nails sticking out of it, and laughing at the fucking shoe heel and the bomb. And I got off stage, and Barry's like, what the fuck happened, man? What the fuck happened, man? I mean, that's one of, there's so many, there's so many horror. I did one in memoriam one. I'd had one of those.
Oh my god!
And with Keith Robinson, we had to do that. And there's so many horror. There was a. Oh, God, I can't. There's so many of them. But let's go back to you guys. That was just that set my career back like a year. I think that
really,
maybe
though?
two.
Did it really, DC?
Maybe
Though? I'm
mentally.
curious. Like if you say horrific events like that, when those things happen, were they truly horrific and it impacted you?
Because you can't. Then you can't get into a festival.
And it was really like that in that experience.
yeah.
for
Well,
you.
I think it's back then there was
They
no
wanna
internet.
cast you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No internet.
So there was back then there was very specific routes. So that route for DC, it was massive.
Yeah.
It's not like you could be like, oh, I'll just go lean on my followers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're looking for that push.
No, you kill in front. The industry decides if you're going to move forward, and if they want to
100%.
cast you and stuff, or
Wow.
the pilot season's coming up, or do you get a deal? All that kind of stuff, and all those shot callers were in that room.
That's like NFL draft day or something.
yeah.
It's like the combine,
Comedians
yeah.
kinda,
And then to bomb so legendarily. And it was.
But it's funny because I've done Montreal audition. I just did a Netflix as a joke audition, and those crowds with the industry are kind of bad crowds.
They are bad crowds.
So that's what's so ironic
Yeah.
about all of this. It's like, do they just know who they're going to pick anyways? Because
a lot of times they do.
yeah. So
you
it's
know.
like, does it really matter? I guess falling off the stage is probably going to hurt you, but it could have helped you.
It could
Now
have.
if it was on video, it could have made you.
Yeah, it
It
would've
could
got you
have.
a huge
But back
clip,
then
bro.
it was not. You know, and they do. they do kind of know a lot of the times. They have the people that are hot, and then you try to, they'll infiltrate. You can kind of they'll pick out from this, kind of the low rent pool. They'll let one of them in. Let one of us in there. So, but I remember there was a thing called the Aspen Comedy Festival.
Yeah, that was big,
HBO's
huge
festival, and I did. Two things happened in that festival that were crazy. One was that and this is what gave me an insight into all that. One was I was killing. There was like a few different groups, and you're in a group, and then they'll have your group show, and you go up. And I was having great sets every show, and one of the other comics came up to me and said, George Shapiro's my manager, who was Seinfeld's manager.
I met George.
And they were like, if you sign with George, you're gonna win this festival.
Yeah.
But I had a guy that I had worked with that helped get me in. This guy, I mean, he really worked hard for me, helped get me in. I'm like, I appreciate that. It's probably a smart thing to do, but I can't do that. And then so another one of George's clients got the festival, but I got a lot of heat on me anyway. And I ended up going to LA to test for a pilot called The Tick. It was from a cartoon, I guess.
I remember that.
And for this guy, Batman Well, the part of Batman Well. And I had okay auditions, but they were like, that was great. That was genius. Because I had the heat from the festival. And I'm going through I'm doing screen tests. I'm going in front of producers. And I'm like, normally, this isn't really that great. And I've had great auditions and nothing happened.
Right.
But because I was in the pool a little bit, now you're kind of pushed through. So
what comics were at Aspen? Was this
who was there with me?
Big festival.
Yeah,
God, I mean, I'm trying. Well, I mean, there was Steve Martin was there.
Oh my
Not in the
God.
group, but Steve Martin was there. Martin Short was there.
Yeah.
God, I mean, it was like
It's
it was like a
huge,
who's who of people. I'm trying to think who was in my group that ended up blowing up. I don't. With Judy Gold. I don't know, but it was a great festival to do, and the crowds were great.
Yeah,
that was the
that's
difference.
awesome,
That was the difference.
Yeah, as long as you have an audience, it's great.
Jared, you're a year in. What's one of the worst ones I'm curious, a year in.
What's happening? How do you bomb now? What's it like now?
Yeah.
Well, my second time doing comedy.
This is already a good story.
I went to a different club, not Kenny's club.
Yeah.
I tried comedy for the first night. Actually, the time that I tried comedy for the first night there was a roast of MJ. Like, you guys know MJ. So there was a roast there.
Oh, man.
And I was going to the open mic after, but for some reason they were like, yo, if anyone wants to roast MJ, just go up. So technically my first time trying comedy was just me roasting MJ. But anyway, it went better than expected for me, because I've done public speaking since a young since a young kid. So my first time, I felt like I went up there with a little bit more stage presence than I don't know. It just went fine for my first time trying comedy. So then my second time, I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to Tampa. I'm going to this place called The Gimmick.
Now.
Yeah, I have an ego. I'm like, I tell our buddy, Nick, his buddy Pat, I'm like, yo, you got to come with me. You got to film this. It's going to be crazy. I go to The Gimmick, and it just goes very badly. And I just felt embarrassed so much. But the funniness and all of that is, I go back to Kenny's club. That very same comedian that said that and was ripping me. Wind up being so nice when I went to Kenny's club and was like, dude, I'm so happy that you came back and you're still doing comedy.
Oh, wow.
And it was just funny to me because it was like, wow, I'm seeing what this is like. We go up there, we make fun of each other. I wasn't this devastated. I'm from Jersey. I went to that mic wanting to get into a roast battle or something. Yeah. But it was just a perspective change for me. I was like, oh shit, this is like a game, and it was the first time that I kind of saw something like that.
And you didn't feel super bad after?
No, for bombing,
you're very studious. And Kenny was talking about, he goes, yeah, Jared listens well. I've noticed, I mean, I don't know, we've known each other since, but you're very, you do listen, you're very you're like a scientist, very, taking it in, I'm
trying to get better.
Yeah.
I think that there's no right way to do it, as
Yeah.
a lot of people say.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to take other aspects of my life previously and apply it to comedy in
Yeah.
the same way that I would like learn those things like real estate or anything have you, right? So
Yeah.
I appreciate you saying that. One thing that I was kind of curious about from this crowd was like the crowd
All
work
10
element.
inches
Yeah,
plus.
all 10 inches
Yeah,
plus.
yeah, combined.
On social media, there's like a thing with like crowd work and shit like that. Has there ever been a moment that has like historically just like caught you off guard?
Yes. I have a
A
Gandhi
response?
story that's insane. Do you remember this?
I think.
This is insane that this happened, and it sounds like if I had a video of this, I would be a god. So one night at Gandhi, in the front row, sometimes people wouldn't sit. So there's a guy here and a guy here, and there's like 2 chairs empty, but these guys are alone. So I'm like, what's going on? I was like, it feels like you guys have this like weird squaring off fight. I'm like, are you guys? And I go, is this like a political bout? I just started riffing, and I go, where are you from? And he goes, Israel. And then I go, where are you from? And he's like, Palestine. And the crowd went fucking insane, dude. And I just riffed on it, and it was like we were seeing the conflict happen right there.
Yeah.
And I like, clearly we did not plan that at all. It was one of the biggest reveals. Like the crowd went apeshit because I was building it because I didn't know what was happening. It was a weird vibe. So I'm talking to this one guy. And I'm like, he's like, I'm from Israel, and, and it's like going on and on. And then the guy goes, I go, where are you from? He's like, Palestine. And it just like, it like brought the room down, dude. And I wish I had, that was before we recorded all, like we didn't record anything.
Nobody
then.
recorded anything.
Yeah.
Nobody, this wasn't even a thing.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
Like some of the stuff that happened at that show, unreal.
DC, when you were coming up in comedy, if podcasting was a thing, do you think you would be into podcasting and shit when you were coming up?
I guess so. I'm not. This is for me. This is technology, and
I'm curious. What is your
technology
thoughts on all
averse.
this?
But you know what? I probably would because it's something you can create, and I was big on like writing stuff and shooting it. You know, like getting comedians together. Like I have old shows I did with like Dimitri Martin when he was young, being like a PA or a writer on the show, or who's Brody Stevens is in one. Or like
so
I got
funny.
old footage of all these things that I
So
shot
funny.
over the years. Ben Bailey's and stuff. I mean, God, the amount these little shorts and things like that. So that's kind of equivalent to
Definitely.
I think this thing is you go out and you get your crew together.
The medium of the
100%.
time.
That's what I was kind of asking.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I think it's a great thing to do. This
Yeah.
is so cool that people can do this now. I don't have the energy to do it, but I think it's great to be a guest on it. I don't think.
What do you want to do now? Like you've done so much stuff. You've done the TV, the stand up on the thing. What do you want to do? The cameras are overheating. What do you where do you want it to go from here?
Man, I just want to I want to just be able to keep doing stand up and not have to sweat making a living from it. So, I'm doing some other things to bring in income and trying to lower overhead and all that. And I just want to always be able to do stand up and not have to worry about auditioning for shit and not have to worry about all the stuff that just sucks the life out of you in this business, that when you're younger and you're trying to grow and you're trying to blow up, you're trying to do whatever. Now I'm like in a place where I don't have to really worry so much about that. So I'm kind of where I want to be. I just want to keep doing it and do it because I love it, and hopefully keep writing and keep coaching people and that kind of stuff. So that's kind of it. It's not there's not a lot of it's not a real big plan. There's not it's kind of a very small plan. So I don't know if that's...
I have a question about just like comedy career in general. Do you think that it's not right to like be patient in terms of your career? Like, is there like a race? Meaning like when you start, I'm a year in or whatever. Does it mean something? Like, should I be a certain place by year 5, year 10? There's no race, right?
Just get
like,
good.
That's what,
just get
absolutely.
good. That's, I mean, you guys answer, but I believe is all that stuff is very hard to control. You can't control that stuff. What you can control is your output and the the grind, how much you
Yes.
put into it. Like, you're a student of it, you're a craftsman, get really good at it, and then that other stuff, the marketing and where you should be. If you look around and see where everybody else is, you're gonna jump off a fucking building. You know what I mean? Where this one's doing this one's doing it. But it's like what you can control is how good you are, so that when people book you, you're gonna go in there and you're gonna rip it. And they're like, oh, that Jared guy, that guy's a fucking killer. He's a commodity.
Yeah.
And that's all you can control.
Or be hot.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's it.
I'm working on
that
that.
helps.
It used to be a thing though, right? There weren't hot people really in comedy. Were
No,
there?
now everybody's hot.
And now it's like marketing. It's the whole. But back in 80s, 90s, it wasn't about being hot. It was like
I think people are just horny now. They're just super horny with the internet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's no timeline. Like, we saw comics that we know. Michael Che was famous like a year and a half into doing comedy.
he had a fast trajectory. Yeah.
The Lucas brothers, they were like
Kevin
on
Hart.
TV in 2 weeks.
Yeah, Kevin Hart was quick.
Was
man.
he really?
Oh, yeah.
That's
You
what
said
I said,
Birbiglia was like on Letterman.
Birbiglia was fast.
Yeah.
Mulaney was fast. Yeah.
So you never, because I'd always hear this. It takes 4 years. I'm like, well, I'm 16 years into it. It takes 4. You hear all this logic. It doesn't, especially with the internet. It doesn't matter anymore.
But look at Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah.
Who quit and sold aluminum siding and then came back, and that's really when he.
It's crazy.
That's when he hit.
Greg Warren started at 40.
Wow.
And
Did he?
Yeah, he started really late. He was corporate jobs. I think it was 40 he started.
Wow.
And his career keeps getting these waves.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
so it's
his
like,
might be the best it's ever been.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you never know, man. Like, yeah.
You think there's an age gap or a limit where? Well, I don't know how long we've been doing this. We'll wrap up at
17
some point.
more hours.
Yeah, it feels
Yeah.
long. Oh yeah, we'll stop.
I'm
in a bit.
sweating.
Well, maybe a few more minutes. Do you think there's a time where like you become not good? Like obviously like Don Rickles forever, but like. And even some of the Golden Girls, they were really funny.
No, because I think
Like-
that's what's so great about stand-up is like you can rip it for really long.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we're like golfers, dude. We could still rock it. Like
Robert Klein.
Seinfeld,
no matter how
yeah.
you feel about Seinfeld, I watched him do a 10-minute set recently. I'm like, he's still bringing it, man.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
still tight. Like he's 73. Like Chappelle's gonna be doing this
He
for
went
20
to
more.
Clearwater. I know people that just
Yeah.
like, saw him and they said that he was awesome. Seinfeld.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
all you gotta do is
recently.
just keep learning how to talk. You know,
Yeah.
just keep
Well,
talking.
keep writing, and the thing is, what happens a lot, I think, as you get older, is you don't have to write because you've got this this act that you can dip into, and I know what happens to me, or I don't write as much, but. And that's when things can get stale. When you're doing the same thing, you're feeling like, this is the same shit.
Yeah.
But if you're continuing to write and evolve, I think that will keep you from getting stale, keep you, but that doesn't happen a lot. You'll see, a lot of cruise ship guys or whatever, they can go kill and make good money on cruise ships. You don't have to write a new joke.
What I keep coming back to is like all the people who've had success in the industry and stand-ups, they always go back to stand-up. They always say how great it is. Like Dangerfield has that great joke. Norm would always tell the story where he's like, it's just stand-up, kid. It's just stand-up. Everything else is shit. And Norm's like, okay. He goes, stand-up's also shit. It's just shit. But like John Oliver said it was his favorite thing. Like Jim Gaffigan. All these guys are like, I just want to
Paul
do stand-up.
Mooney did it forever.
Norm.
Yeah.
I mean, Norm was like, I just want to do stand-up.
Yeah.
I think that was like part of the attractiveness to stand up for me. It was like, okay, this is like public speaking's hardest Mount Everest form. And it's also something that you could do for the rest of your life. And it's like you have it with you at all times.
Yeah,
It's
portable. It's a great portable
It's
thing.
such a good skill.
You don't need anything for it. You just need your brain, and you go up there, and you need to be able to talk. You can limp up there. You can wheelchair
Yeah.
up there. You look at Keith Robinson's special.
Yeah.
Fucking 2 strokes. He's hobbling up there, and it's the best special.
I gotta watch it.
Oh my god, the different stroke special.
Okay, I gotta watch it.
Is phenomenal.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
the material.
That's awesome.
I mean, you're talking about the guy from Star Search to the guy now, and to go up there and have like limited ability to talk and have a cane and very limited movement and be able to take that and make a killer hour out of it.
That's
Like,
awesome.
It's one of the. It's like. That's a barometer to hold up some of these shitty specials that you're seeing too.
Yeah.
It's like, look at this guy.
How
Look-
good it
look-
can be.
Yeah.
No, when I see a good special, I'm so excited. I'm
Yeah.
like, hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
When someone brings it in a special, I'm like, that's great. I want them all to be good, but it's hard with the output. But I think about that, like all these comics who are selling out arenas, I'm like, they have no overhead. They just have a microphone.
Yeah,
it's like, dude,
Right.
it's not like you're doing the same arena that Springsteen did with a 300-person crew and a whole band, and it's like Nate Bargatze and a microphone and Graham K.
And you
It's
guys
like,
know, like from being in New York City, you would be done with your gigs late at night.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
get
yeah.
on the subway, and there's always one guy with a fucking cello that's looking sad, and he's got to schlep that thing around all night. He probably didn't get paid anything like what you got paid.
Yeah.
You don't have to carry anything. You
Yeah,
got
it's pretty great.
You got your fucking slice of pizza, and you're sitting on the A train and
dollar slice, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's true. I can't think of much else unless you guys. I mean, we can
it's
talk
been-
all day, obviously.
Covered, man.
I feel great.
All right, should people do plugs?
Yeah,
You got
let's
to
plug it up.
What you got
Let's
going
plug it
on.
up.
Your podcast.
Yes.
Yes.
Your podcast is awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'd love to have you on there next time.
Yeah,
guys
man.
do something
Sure.
like that, brother. It'd be fun.
And what's it called? Your Only Friends?
Your Only Friends, yes.
Your
Oh,
Only
great.
Friends podcast. Where do we find it?
It's in this building. It's no.
If I'm online.
Your Only Friends podcast, and I'm Jared Dykas.
So we Google that, we'll find it?
Yes, just
All
Your
right.
Only Friends podcast. You'll find it.
All right. Brendan?
Yeah, my album just came out. It's on Apple TV, and you could stream it on Amazon Prime for some money that I probably won't see. And it's called I Am the Resistance.
What a business.
Get me on YouTube, and I have a podcast called Spiritual Asshole.
Yes, in
amazing.
DC. Oh, I'll plug you something for you. I plug you on the streets. Like every time they tell me they're like, I don't know if I'm a stand up, but I really want to get into storytelling. I always tell them,
yeah, the
I
best
always tell them to
storyteller.
check your stuff out. And you teach storytelling classes.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
should take that class.
I coach comedians and I teach comedic storytelling.
But let me interrupt you again.
Yeah.
He's a real coach. Like
Yeah.
a lot
Yes.
of people.
No, this is a good
yeah,
note.
like a
Yeah.
lot of stand up. You're like,
Let me tell you one of the best things Lance ever said to me that I love so much. This one comic was saying like how the business works, and Lance just goes, "I'm sorry, I don't take advice from failed comedians." So DC's not a failed comedian. I think that's what you're saying. Take advice from DC.
There's a lot of coaches that be like, you didn't really ever get it. You weren't good like back when you were doing it. Like,
check their credits. Like
Like there are a few.
No, there's some good
coaches
coaches.
that are awesome. And
Michael
D-
Showalter taught sketch
Yeah.
writing. Take a Michael
Yeah,
Showalter
I took
sketch writing class.
sketch writing from Donald Glover.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. I mean,
Take a DC Benny
yeah.
storytelling class.
But he's a real it's a real
But I hear that your voice all the time whenever I get shitty advice. I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't take advice from Phil. I never say it, but I always hear your voice. I'm like, I'm like, okay.
Yeah. So anyway, your storytelling class is
Yeah.
that's the one to take.
Yeah, I do that. I do one at the Cellar, the Comedy Store. I do one at Gotham,
awesome.
and then I do them. I just do the individual
Private
coaching
yeah.
online, via Zoom. So that's good. And then what else? And they can go to DC Benny channel on YouTube, and I got a bunch of specials on there.
Oh, sick.
And I don't know what I think that's kind of that's enough. They can
You
see
guys
that.
have any merch?
I'm working on some.
You're working on
You gotta
merch?
have
I'm
something.
working
Gotta
on
get
it. I'm
part of
working
the
on
Lance
it.
merch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to get the merch, bro.
Yeah.
And yeah. So
That's it.
we
How
good.
about you? You gonna plug anything?
Yeah. What are you
This,
plugging?
Party with Lance.
Plug
The
this.
tour.
You just Google
The
Party
tour.
with Lance. You find it all.
Great.
You find the shows. You find everything. A brand of a lifetime.
All right.
All right, that's it. Feels pretty good.
Yeah, baby.
We did it. We potted it.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Thank you.
This was going to come out soon.